Hi, in this video we're gonna cover sliced, tiled, and filled modes. We already covered simple mode. From previous video I deleted every asset, almost every. We have an empty scene, and I prepared this image, dotted outline. Let's import it and create a initial SDF setup. Make it a sprite, import the SDF, create an SDF image in canvas. This can be done with the option in context menu. Put up the sprite into the image, increase the mesh scale, create SDF material, set the material to image, change its settings a bit, and maybe make image itself red. Okay, now it looks fine. This is the basic SDF image setup. This image is in simple mode. What's next? Next we have sliced mode. Unity tells us that this image does not have a border. Image without border will behave as regular image. In order to set up a border, we need to go to Sprite Editor. This is basically built-in Unity window. And let's adjust it to something like 128. We already can see that our image changed. Now we can change its scale with pixels per unit property. And this is basically how a regular Unity image behaves. The corner gets scaled by 2 axes and the edges get scaled by 1 axis. This results into stretching up the SDF and it doesn't really look cool. So in this mode, we better use some other types of image. I'm gonna create a duplicate here, and then we can browse to 2D, sprites, and 9 sliced image. This will be direct with rounded corners and already sliced to work properly in sliced mode. Let's enable SDF import and change the pixels per unit multiplier. We can see that in shaded wireframe mode there is a quads added for each side. We can scale the image and edges and corners will remain intact. Only edges will be scaled in one axis. SDF will be stretched in one axis, however with this image it will look fine. Let's even create some more complex material with more effects. And this setup results into a pretty nice window. You can use these kind of sprites with these settings as window frames for your UI. It scales fine, looks cool. However, if we put this material onto this kind of image in sliced mode, we can see that it gets even more stretchy. The SDF stretched like way too big, and the shadows causes artifacts. So for this kind of image, we better use a tiled mode. Yeah, it's already looking pretty good. We can use pixels per unit multiplier to tile this little meshes. However, can see the artifacts here, and this happens because we not correctly sliced our sprite. Let's go to the sprite import settings and increase the border. Adjust it to let each part of the sprite, like corners, edges, and center, to have enough space to generate an SDF. And with this values, we can see that image looking kind of nice. This is an okay look. However, we can adjust the size that each edge will tile perfectly. And this is how it looks like. Will work as same as regular image. For each element of the grid, another quad for SDF will be added. If we remove the fill center, there will be no leftover quads. If we increase the shadow offset too far, some artifacts might appear. This is the leakage of neighboring cells into the current cell. But overall, this is an okay looking tiled quad with outline. We can even change its size to this small, but at this point it will just scale. And that's the default image behavior. Next mode is filled. Let's turn it on this image and select Radial 360. In this mode, everything working cool. Now let's select horizontal mode. It's also looking fine. However, there's some nuance here. If the mesh scale higher than 1, then this part of SDF effect gonna be cut off at some point lower than 1. Same is for the case when we reach in 0 fill amount. Because unfortunately with mesh scale, we didn't know where the actual boundaries of the image is. Same goes for vertical mode. Let me show you how this can be avoided. Let's create a different image. I'm gonna copy this one, open it in Photoshop, and add these offsets manually. Let's make a duplicate image and put this sprite here. Decrease the mesh scale. Go to input settings and spread the sprite accordingly. Also change the borders. It doesn't need mesh scale, so I'm gonna decrease the border offset to 0. And select field mode. And now image with horizontal and vertical modes will work without cutting off the SDF effect at beginning and at the end. However, at the cost of image being smaller than it actually is. Let's go back to the image with mesh scale, first one, and select the mode Radial 90. As you can see, there is an info box with warning that Radial 90 and 80 are currently not supported, and result will be kinda weird. To prevent this, we need to use the texture without the border offset. Let's see how this result is weird. And yeah, not cool. There is some SDF left that shouldn't be there. And same for 180. Everything is kind of weird. The same as for vertical and horizontal. To fix this issue, we should use the texture with manual offset. And now everything is okay. So that's it. Quick recap. We covered all of the image modes and all the nuances they have. First nuance is with horizontal and vertical mode. If image uses border offset, there will be this sharp cutoff of SDF at the begin and end the end of fill amount. If you use Radial 90 or 180, there also will be weird artifacts if mesh scale is used. Both of those things is fixed if we use image without the mesh scale, without border offset, with manual borders added to the texture. In this case, horizontal and vertical fills will be gradual, and radial 90 and 180 will be fine. There is some nuances how to slice an image for tiled or sliced mode. We need to left enough space for each part of the sprite to let SDF generate. Apart from that, that's pretty much it. And thanks you for watching.